Let's see how we can use the IMPORTHTML function in Google Sheets. We have the IMPORTHTML function Google Sheet open, and it has the data template we require. In column A, we have the URL. The web pages whose URLs are given in column A are opened in the two tabs. In column B, we have the query, which can be either a table or a list. In column C, we have the index, that is the table or the list number in that particular web page. From the first web page, we want this table to be imported in the E1 to G4 range. And in this range, we want this list to be imported. For that, we will use the IMPORTHTML function. So we will write, equal to IMPORTHTML, it imports data from table or list in an HTML page. It takes URL, query, index, and locale as arguments. An example is shown. More about the arguments. URL is the URL of the page to examine including protocol. Query is either list or table depending on what type of structure contains the desired data. Index, the index, starting at 1, which identifies which table or list as defined in the HTML source should be returned. And locale, language and region locale code to use when parsing the data. If unspecified, the document locale will be used. For our case, we will ignore the locale, which can be taken as EN_US, US English, or any other locale code. We will only use the first three arguments. We have the first URL in the A2 cell, so we will write equal to IMPORTHTML, A2, comma, query is table, which is given in the B2 cell, so we will write B2, comma, index, we will take index from the C2 cell. Let's close the bracket. For the first time, it gives warning. Some formulas are trying to send and receive data from external parties, so we need to allow access. We get the table, which we wanted. Header, A, B, C, row 1, 2, 3, A, B and C. Header, A, B, C, row 1, 2, 3, A, B and C. So we get the table here. Let's make this title bold. If we change the index to some other number, we will get another table. So, for example, if we give the index as 3, we get the third table in the web page. But we want the table we had earlier, so we will change the index to 4. Now, to get the list from the second URL or web page, we will write equal to IMPORTHTML in bracket. The URL is given in the A3 cell, so we will write A3, comma, query is given in the B3 cell, which is list, so we will write B3, comma, index. For this particular list, index is 23, so we will write C3. Let's close the bracket. Let's adjust the width of the column. We see that we get this list from C-ISO/IEC 9899. To CEEM, A, C. Now, instead of these arguments, A, to B2 and C2, We could give in quotes the values for the URL, query, and index, and we would get the same result. We will copy the first URL. And instead of A2, we will write in quotes the copied URL. Instead of B2, we will write in quotes table. And instead of C2, we will write 4. We see that we get the same result. Now for the list. If we copy the second URL, and instead of A3, we give the URL we copied, in quotes. Instead of B3, we give the query as list in quotes. And instead of C3, we give index as 23, the index of the list we want. We get the same result. With this, we have successfully learned how to use the import HTML function in Google Sheets. Thank you for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe if this video was useful.